Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Core Racing Network. Tonight, round 7 of the Core GT Series takes us to the Far East, to Japan and the Suzuka International Racing Circuit. And this place it's wet. As you can see, it is a downpour. It's been raining for quite some time, and there is no signs of letting up. But one thing these drivers are going to have to do is let up. They're not going to be able to take the speeds that they normally do. This track it's about a sheet of ice, just about, for these drivers. I've seen a lot of them out there in this practice qualifying right now, just trying to find some grip, trying to find where the breaking point is of the tires and when it's going to start getting loose, because it's going to be some tiptoeing out here and it's going to be survival for sure. So I think the real drivers, the real cream is going to rise to the top for this one here tonight. Carl Hamwark joined in the booth by Tyler Skozen. Tyler, I hope you got some galoshes, a raincoat, an umbrella, maybe 6 umbrellas for this one, because it is wet.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool because I'm kind of experiencing it in real life right outside, which is kind of fun. So I can kind of get an idea what these drivers are going for, but I mean, hey, this is going to be pretty wild. I mean, 6 umbrellas, I mean, I feel like you're being generous with that, because it is I don't know if monsoon is a good word, but an absolute downpour. These drivers are going to have so many tricky conditions to work through here, and it's an hour race, so that's going to be a lot of fun racing, not probably for them, but for us. Yeah, it did. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be definitely interesting. I mean, when you look at the silver division, that's going to be the one that I look at the most here. I mean, it's a close battle up front right now, but I mean, again, with these track conditions that you got coming up here, you got so many different people who have different experiences, especially in the rain. So, I mean, it's going to be tough to tell. I mean, you're going to have your front runners. We've seen rain races already before now, so there will probably be a few guys that stand out, but most of the battling is going to be in the middle field. In the middle of the pack right here, trying to just learn the track, learn the conditions, because even outside of just the racetrack, the conditions, it's not an easy racetrack. Suzuka's pretty tough. There's a lot of elevation changes, a lot of tight corners, and again, with the rain, it's going to have to make you really rethink about how you would normally drive this track. So there's plenty of it. There's plenty of fun racing here. We will look to see how these guys handle, but it should be intriguing. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough to tell because we're about halfway through the season here, so you're going to see a lot of different racing, especially when it comes to the guys who are up front or even in the middle of the pack, you know. I mean, drivers change their styles all the time, and now that we're at the middle point of the season, drivers are getting close to that championship battle right here. It'll be interesting to see what they decide to do as a whole here when it comes to how they decide the race here, but that will be pretty interesting to see as we continue. Again, I mean, the silver division is going to be the one I look at the most because with how close that is, I mean, you don't want to drive safe in these kind of conditions, but you also don't want to be over aggressive. You know, you got to be careful because anything could happen with how tight these races are, and especially with how big these fields are. I believe it's over 30 cars tonight. Once again, another absolutely stacked field. So while any portion of this race is going to be interesting, watch lap 1. That is probably where we're going to see most of the action.
Well, it looks like having some mic issues, but everything should be good to go on my side now. Hopefully everybody can hear me out there now. Didn't hear much of the beginning there for sure. But either way, we are done with qualifying. It's time to take a look at the starting order here tonight. And to give you an idea, you know, we talked about drivers, you know, some kind of stepping up that they're better in rain than they are in others. You know, you got, you know, on the oval side of racing, you got some guys that are better at short tracks, some better guys that are better at, you know, the dirt races, things like that. So you're certainly seeing some different names up here. And starting with the gold division, top of the boards is going to be James Pierce with a 218.517, Ricky Renner, Jack Peterson, Mason Smith, Michael Brock for your top 5. Then you got Nick Terrell, Dominique Ford down in 7th place, and that's actually 12th place overall. Dave Tilford and Kelly Pointer for your 9 cars in the gold division. In the silver, it is going to be Jimmy Covert on top of the boards, John Nominger, Nathan Nickerson, Braden Carlson, Tyler Kokeko for your top 5, then Justin Kirby, Ellie Brandel, and Alan Gullison for the 8 cars in the silver division. In the bronze, Jesse Francisco, top of the boards, James Molyneux, Josh Betts, Tim Thompson, John Crane for the top 5, Alex Jaspers, Terry Jansen, CJ Conklin for the 8 cars in the bronze. Finally, the rookies that are out here tonight, Jonathan Swartz, winner last week, is the top time out here. Kenny Hines making an appearance here tonight. Jake Jackson, Jaden Porter, and Alexander Hamrick make up the 5 rookies that will be in the class here. 30 cars in these wet and wild conditions here at Suzuka, and they're already pacing around here. We're going to get this thing fired off for the typical 1 hour of racing, and I'm looking forward to it. And like I said to Tyler before we got this thing going, it's going to be fun for us and for you out there, the viewing audience. Not so much for these guys out here. I don't think it's going to be a bit of a rough one, but we'll go ahead and get you over to the front of the pack here. Again, James Pierce, Ricky Renner on the front row.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Just look at that straightaway there at this portion of the racetrack, and it's a tight corner here as they come up to the final little chicane there. It's narrow. It's not that large. There is very small room for error. This will be some fun as a whole. I like it. Let's get ready to get some action.
Coming through the final chicane here, and the pace car will stay to the right-hand side and pull into pit lane, and we're going to be ready for some GT3 action here at Suzuka. As the cars come through the final corner onto the front stretch, you see Barney there on the left side. At least he's got maybe a little overhang there to protect him from the weather just a little bit. But a beautiful sight seeing all these cars come up and into to the queue here for the start of this thing. And we are racing at Suzuka. And you see the other thing, I mean, the rain is bad enough. but the mist. You see everybody diving all around, trying to look for any kind of just visibility on this thing. A few drivers starting from pit lane as well.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's going to be the interesting thing, starting a pit lane and everything that's going to happen here. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see if they make it clean.
So far, so good. Really, really cool looks there from certainly from outside the car. Watching these cars just dance through these S's for the first time. Into Dunlop for the first time, and so far so good. These drivers doing a fantastic job. You see them all pretty much getting into single file already. They're not messing around. They just, I think, want to get through the first portion of this race, maybe get to that first pit stop, and then worry about it. But I think this is going to be the first maybe troublesome spot. We've seen a lot of guys having some issues here in Degner going off into that kitty litter, but maybe a little bit off there by Justin Kirby, but gets him back on track here. He's heading to the hairpin for the first time. It is still James Pierce at the front of the field. And you see we're all the way on the inside there by the curbing. That is the water puddling down there. Obviously the hairpin here banked a little bit, so all the water's going to run to that inside. So you have to kind of take it a little bit wider. Same thing here in Spoon. You see that water kind of puddling up on the inside of the corner.
Yeah, that's going to be the one thing that's pretty important, is that the curbs are something that drivers will love to run on, especially in the dry conditions. But then as you get into the wet, like you said there, right there, you're going to probably not going to run the optimal line, because, I mean, the optimal line has too much water. It's just ultimately too difficult to race as a whole. So you're going to, again, have to adjust the way you race, the way you pass, and then passing is going to be something that's going to be pretty tricky as we go on throughout this race. There's plenty of time, plenty of strategies that we'll see throughout this race.
And the chicane for the first time under speed. And James Pierce is going to lead the field here at the front. And I mean, from everything that I've seen, at least SDK hasn't picked up any incidents here on lap one. Absolute kudos to all the drivers out there. Great job. I'll also bring up the current standings here, and what a job here. As yeah, that would probably help. How about for your view? For sure.
Thank you. No, you're good. You're good.
Oh, it looks like Jack Peterson may have just had an issue here in turn one. Seen it in the background.
Gosh.
And they're under braking. Big impact there.
I'd have to look to see if he maybe clipped a little bit of a puddle there on the right side, because, I mean, I was checking out the practice laps, and some of these drivers just, let's see here. You can kind of see.
He might have clipped the just the little paint on the track there, too.
That's what I was about to say. That's kind of the separation point between the track and the paint. Yeah, look at the little bit.
Tried to brake on the paint, and unfortunately for the 421 of Michael Brock, taking him out as well.
It's a shame. Michael Brock seemed really good at practice and qualifying earlier today. Tough for him. Peterson also looked pretty good in practice as well, but tough way to get this race started here. CJ Conklin, let's see what he's got.
Same thing, you see right there, get those tires on that paint. Paint is a no-no, and he had to tow back to the pits as well. Take back live to the front here. James Pierce is leading the way here overall. In the silver division, Nathan Nickerson has made up a couple spots here. He is now your leader and running 5th place overall. Tyler Keiko, John Nominger, all getting past the Bulls and Jimmy Covert there, as that'll be the top 4. In the bronze division, Jesse Francisco doing a fantastic job, up to 12th place overall. And he's got quite a few cars in between him and the next bronze driver of James Molyneux, as Jesse is in 12th, James is back there in 19th, so good start here for being number 7.
Yeah, this is something that I also really want to point out, especially now that we're looking at these line of drivers. You can see how they're continuously pulling out a line, and the reason for that is pretty simple. I mean, the drivers here, let's take a look at a replay quick with Dominic Ford off the racetrack slightly.
Yeah, I heard a car sliding, and I seen that down off track, but that wasn't the car that I heard for sure.
Yeah, but back to what I was saying really quick here, you can see with the amount of spray that these cars are producing, just because of how fast they're going, they're all running in line just to get the drive, but you can also see, like right here, all the drivers are getting out of line, trying to make sure that nobody's in front. And see, this is what they are seeing when they are driving. You can barely see the headlights, but so much spray, especially when you got one car, even more than one car right in front of you. It's just unbelievably difficult to see. You're going to want to know where the corner is so you don't miss your braking point. So most of the time, if there's no room to move out just to see where you're going and you're close to a car, you're just going to have to follow them pretty much and just try to brake when they are. And that's the tricky thing, especially about these conditions here. But I mean, as you go right now, I mean, the rain's not going to get any lighter, so these conditions are going to continue to pretty much stay the same here. But yeah, the faster they go, the worse the spray is going to get. They're pretty much up to speed. Look at what Jesse sees right now. Much of nothing.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the start of the race here, and we'll hop on board with Ellie Brandel and just show you what it was like on these first couple laps when we get to the cockpit there.
Jeez.
And I don't care if you got Rain X on the windshield or not. it's not working. It's not working as intended.
I've talked so much about how I'd love to drive these race cars, but see, this is a moment where I am super happy I am right here and not in this, because this just seems like a headache to even deal with. So, I mean, props to the drivers for getting through lap one pretty clean, because that's the most difficult time when all the drivers are so close to each other. And yeah, props to them, well done.
And just as as an idea, this is what somebody in the mid pack is looking at. This was what James Pierce was looking at. Obviously, you want to be the leader here. I mean, you can see so much better. Yeah, you got a little bit of rain in the windshield, but no spray to deal with whatsoever. This is definitely what you want to be doing out here if you can. But you can see even riding on board here with James, you see that puddling there on the inside. That's why you see him kind of taking the middle of the corner, like Tyler mentioned. You can't take the typical lines here. You want to avoid the curbs. The curbs are slippery, just like that paint is on that front stretch, clearly. And you get down into the puddles on that inside there, you're going to hydroplane very quickly. So take you back live here.
And I mean, even just to go back to what you were saying, even though James has, pretty much no spray in front of him at all to even deal with it, still doesn't mean that it's an easy job for him at all, because, I mean, just driving in the rain, period, is difficult. And Jesse!
Wow. I have no idea how he clipped a 50 there, but he's gonna clip the wall. Looks like gets away with it a little bit there.
Holy cow.
It sounded like there was another car spinning behind. Oh, that is Justin Kirby. We'll see what happened to Kirby here, and I think the same thing. It looked like he kind of clipped that, oh no, right there. He's on the exit, gets a little bit too wide. And luckily for these drivers, iRacing hasn't fully modeled the kitty litter out there. Because if that car was out there in these conditions, you're not going to move those back tires at all. You're going to be stuck there, and it's going to be a safety car to come out there and get you. A couple more incidents here. We'll take a look. It looks like Jesse Francisco had a bit of an incident. It was this was Jesse Francisco, not it was Jake Jackson is the other one that looked like had a bit of an issue here. And you see the car already broken. See if we can see where, as he just darts it in there and goes back to pit lane. Here is the incident. And same thing. That's 3 now that we've seen. You got to keep those tires off of the pit exit painting right there.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to probably see most of that, the rest of the day at this rate, because we've already seen 3 drivers do it within the first 9 minutes. Not even a quarter, not even a third of the way through. I mean, we still have so much racing to go right now, and I mean, it's going to be all over the place with these conditions. I mean, even that tiny little issue right there with the paint, even just on a straightaway, I mean, the brakes are going to like that. It's difficult for the car to handle it, because I mean, it's not that used to these conditions. I mean, they race in the rain a lot, but like, it's a lot harder than in the dry.
I mean, listen, as a driver, you know to stay off the curbs when it's wet. You know to stay off the paint on the sides of the road when it's wet. You're not thinking about that paint that's just right down down the line there on the front stretch, and it's so simple to looking from the outside, like, well, yeah, of course you got to avoid that. It's painted right there too, so it's going to be slick. But it's one thing that I don't think probably crossed some of these drivers' minds that you need to stay off it or straddle it or do something to avoid it, or it's going to let you know it's there.
Yeah, definitely will, and that's why you don't want to run the optimal line and hit those curves, because it's just how loose they can be. I mean, they're all over the place pretty much. I mean, it's difficult. I mean, that's why I mentioned it with James Pierce, who's leading right now. And I mean, he's got Ricky Renner hot on his heels right behind, only 1 second back, and only 10 minutes in. There's still going to be some pit stops coming up here. We'll see what the strategy is like, but now it's not going to be easy for James.
Yeah, one thing that's nice, and I don't think we'll see here tonight, is the tire wear on these wet tires usually isn't too bad, especially when it's a full wet condition like this. So I don't think drivers will be taking tires. I don't think they wear enough to warrant it. Maybe we'll see some still take tires anyway in hopes that they can get a little extra grip out of it. But you know, it may speed up the pit stops for someone just taking the fuel to get back out there. But yeah, good battle here out to the front as James Pierce gets on that paint on the outside. Now Ricky Renner is all over the backside here. This is the battle for the lead.
Now it's not going to be easy for Ricky, because now this is the closest he's been all day, and now he's got that spray behind him. So got to be careful with how he's braking and how he's entering back into the throttle here with these corners. You're probably going to see him duck out a little bit to see where the corner is. You saw him do it just a little bit right there, but he backs way off of James. Off the back of his back bumper here, so now he's gonna enter into the final chicane here a little bit further back. It's kind of able to see where he is. Takes a little, you can see James doing a little bit of a deeper entry that time. Not really gonna hurt him that much there as they go off the corner. He's gonna pull away just a tiny bit, but Ricky Renner continuing to stay right there. We'll see if we can do anything as we get in, just about 12 minutes in.
And now James Pierce may have some spray to deal with as the 7 of Jesse Francisco coming out of the pits. We'll see how quickly he's able to get out of the way of these leaders coming up here. But yeah, I mean, you seen Ricky, he got very close there, but he had to back off, and that's goes back to what you mentioned earlier, that passing is going to be tough here tonight. I mean, the driver really has to make a mistake in front of you to really open that door, because it's not just as easy as braking a little bit later into the corner. You're going to be on a line that you probably don't want to be on, entering the corner. You don't know how that line is going to be braking. It's really tough as Francisco there pulls out to the side, and a great job there allowing Pierce and Renner to go on by and continue their battle. Nathan Nickerson is still your leader in the silver division, but getting a little close for second place here, as this is John Nominger currently second place in the silver. Right behind him is your pole sitter, Jimmy Covert, as they're working around some lap cars here as well.
A little bit sideways there for John there. This is not the fun part of the racetrack that you want to be in with this many cars close to each other. That's the tricky portion right now. You got some really fast cars there. The battle right now for P2 between John and Jimmy right now, continuing to stay nice and close. As you can see, oversteps the entry just a little bit again, and that's going to allow Jimmy to get just a bit closer there to his back bumper. We'll see if he can make any move here in the coming laps right now, but at the moment, John doing a pretty good job. The lap car in front, trying to pull away just a little bit here, but overall pretty good for Jimmy.
Well, that lap car is not actually a lap car in front. That car right there in front of Nominger is Dominique Ford. He is 6th place overall right now, 4th in the gold division, but certainly looking not like the Dom Ford that we typically see at the front and dominating. I think that the rain is kind of the equalizer here tonight. I think he's mentioned before he's not a big fan of running in the rain, and he just doesn't have a feel for it quite yet. As a bit of a step out there from Covert. Going to lose a little bit of time, but luckily he didn't lose the car in the process. As we're coming up on about a quarter of the way through this race, we're already on minute number 14, and it's James Pierce, Nathan Nickerson, Josh Betts, and Jonathan Schwartz for your division leaders.
Continuing to stay close, yeah. I guess talk a little bit about Dominique Ford, yeah, a little bit. I'm not gonna say crazy to see, but I mean, yeah, this is fairly unlike what we've seen here, especially the first half of the year. Wendy going, what was it, 5 wins straight up to last week's? Yep. Yeah, so first 5, and then getting the win with Jonathan Schwartz last week for the first time, which, by the way, who's also leading the rookie division right now, so good for him as well. But yeah, Dom just Doesn't seem like it's his day at the moment. Was 12 seconds back a few laps ago, now 13. Just not really able to capitalize. James will start to stretch the lead out over Ricky right now. Mason Smith right now in P3, hanging out there about 7 seconds back, and has been as well for a little bit. Don, and then Dave Tilford right now in P5.
We'll take a look at the overall standings here and show you James Pierce, Ricky Renner obviously at the top, Jonathan Schwartz in third place currently right now, running a good race now coming up on Jesse Francisco, the lap car. But Nathan Nickerson, P5 right now in the silver division, doing a fantastic job. He's got that buffer gold division driver of Dominique Ford between him and Nobinger and Covert. But I mean, 4 silver division drivers in the top 10 right now, so they're making a good showing for sure. And you know, that means that we've got 4 gold division drivers that are not in that top 10, as Nick Terrell back in 11th overall, Michael Brock in 25th, and Jack Peterson having the issues. He's back there in 26th position. But still got 28 cars out here running and turning some laps. Looks like CJ Conklin, Jake Porter, the only ones that have retired from this race so far. So, I mean, we've had a couple offs here. We had a couple incidents, and really the majority of it has been on the pit lane exit striping right there. So, got to give to these guys. They're doing a good job keeping on the track.
Yeah, they definitely are, and I mean, I guess as we're talking about the pit and the pit lane at the moment, that'll be something that I'll be very intrigued to see, and that is the entry to pit room once we see the drivers begin with their pit stops. Like you mentioned earlier, probably not going to see much worry about the tire wear at the moment, but probably more on the fuel side for these guys, as Jonathan's going to go way off the racetrack. Looking like he went a little bit too wide there on the exit. It's going to lose quite a bit of time, but overall he's going to get gathered back up here. So good save overall by Jonathan. But yeah, like I was mentioning about pit road, that will be fun to see. We'll see it coming up here just shortly once the drivers decide they've had enough right now, especially on the pit lane at the moment, or on the racetrack on these tires. So now as we look at Jonathan, hopefully he's getting back in his groove after that little bit of a mistake, but still plenty of racing to go to keep it gathered back up.
And Mason Smith closing in on him here, trying to get up there and get himself up into the top 3. Take a look back at a couple other incidents that happened last lap. Alan Gullison, this isn't turn 1, but it was really just an overturn, overcorrection there in the first corner. Luckily, everybody else gets around him there before he gets turned back around and going the right way. And then Kelly Pointer just coming through the S's and gets caught up, maybe behind a lap car there a little bit. Gets on the curbing and slides a bit sideways. But I guess, you know, for both those incidents there, it's nice. You're just sliding on the track. There's no damage to the car. You're going to lose a lot of time, but you don't lose any fenders.
Yeah, I mean, hey, props to all these drivers. I mean, for being in the rain and not really being able to see well with all the spray. Really good job by these guys not making contact with anybody who's currently sitting stranded on the racetrack after a spin like that. So well done right now. Let's take a look at another replay here. It's Justin Kirby, who went off the racetrack earlier as well. Goes in turn 1 and oversteps just a little bit.
Almost a mirror image there of Gullison just getting a little bit too wide with that back end and turn number 2. And here we'll take a look at Terry Jansen going through 130R, and it looked fine there. But the car just steps out on him and it gets him into the grass, heading into the chicane. It looks like he's going to be able to survive the incident here as well. Tyler Kokeko, not so much, as it looks like whatever happened to him, he ended up towing back to pit lane. This is coming into the second Degner corner and heads to the outside. Maybe gets a little help there, but and it didn't look like that hard of an impact, but it was enough to rip off that front fender, and he tows it back to pit lane.
I mean, it's not fun once you make contact with the ball like that and you have to drive it back to pit road. I mean, you really want to tow, but I mean, at the same time, you don't, because that'll unfortunately kill your race quite a bit. But overall, yeah, tough deal for him, but battle in front of continuing to stay close. Man, James is not making it easy for himself whatsoever.
Yeah, Maybe he will need some tires the way he's working those tires coming through Degner there. But Ricky Renner is the one putting pressure on him. I mean, these guys have checked out from the field. They are 7 seconds, well, about 6.5 seconds ahead of Jonathan Schwartz in third, and another 1.2 seconds ahead of the next car in the gold division, Mason Smith, excuse me, in fourth position. Nathan Nickerson still holding on to the top 5. He is your leader in the silver. John Nominger, Jimmy Colbert for your top 3. Then in the bronze division, take a look down here. Haven't really seen it too much here yet. That is your leader in the bronze division, the 341 of Josh Benson. And he's got a couple cars in between him and Alex Jaspers, who's in second. And Tim Thompson currently making up third position for bronze. We've seen Jonathan Schwartz in third place overall. He is leading for the rookies. Kenny Hines in 12th place overall in second. And then in 22nd place overall is Alexander Hamrick in the 401.
About 20 minutes in now to this point, about a third of the way in here. Still plenty to go. We got pit stop shortly, but now these drivers have, I would say for the most part, starting to spread out, get a little bit, trying to figure out where they want to be on the racetrack. Eli Brandel right now doing a really good job of rolling into P4 at the moment. Pretty competitive. He gets a little bit close to those curves, but keeps it going well all by himself. So he's got good room. He's kind of got what James has had for a little bit. Clear racer. He got a few cars up there in front of him at the moment, but nothing to worry about. Good learning curve right now for Eli running in P2.
Yeah, P4 in the silver division for Eli, but P10 overall. So a good run for a lot of these silver drivers so far. I mean, we are only just past a third of the way through this race. Got a lot to go here, as it looks like Kelly Pointer just had another bit of an incident and keeps jumping to the wrong incident here. There we go. Let's try this again. So coming through 130R and heading down into the chicane, and it's kind of the same thing as Terry Jansen. The car steps to the left and sends him out to the grass there, but luckily he gets it back going right back into the race here, and no harm, no foul, just losing an overall position there to Justin Kirby, who's currently running 6th in the silver division.
You can kind of tell, I mean, when he was driving against most of those guys, I mean, he was really all by himself, but at the same time, you saw him enter the corner a little bit high. Not really was close to making contact with the car in front, but, I mean, he basically, for the most part, just had a tough time with the spray. Really couldn't see that much where he was going. Probably locked it up and just shot to the right a little bit. Got loose on him. Eli right now still running in fourth. I kind of saw him get a little bit sideways right before we looked at that replay, but it seemed like back going pretty well right now. But James has stretched the lead over Ricky Renner, who's now running in 2nd place right now. He's got a little bit. He's got a few cars right in front of him right now. Not that many, just one at the moment. Then it looks like he'll have pretty clear track for the most part.
We have our first driver coming into the pits from the front of the field, and that is Ricky Renner coming in from 2nd place. So a bit of an early stop here for Renner before the halfway point, maybe just kind of caught up in some lap traffic as they were. That's where he lost some time with James Pierce here. So we'll see how this transpires here. Looks like we've got a clean entry into pit lane, but everybody else has still been out there. I believe it's showing Nick Terrell as pit lane, but I don't know. We did see a couple guys starting from pit lane. I don't know if he was one that started from pit lane. If he did, it's a heck of a job coming all the way up now into to 10th place and 6th place overall, or 10th place overall, 6th in the gold division. I did see a car that those colors coming out of pit lane, so if that was him, that's a pretty heck of a good job here in the first half of this race.
Yeah, good recovery overall right now. Seems like almost one car coming back on the racetrack there. See plenty of that right now, but yeah, a few other cars that came to pit road. It looks like Don was on pit road as well, not currently in the top 5, so to the front runner, especially Ricky right now, who was running in second place. Dom a little bit further back in fourth. We'll see how much they choose to gain. Here's on board with Ricky, who's now up to fourth place after the pit stop. We'll see where he falls out. Never mind, Dom is still in third. I must have read that as someone else, but yeah, Ricky right now still running in P4. Mason Smith currently in P2, but these guys will bring it to pit road shortly here, so maybe that's a little good for James. Now it doesn't really have much pressure at the moment. One car just parked. Oh, let's see. That has all the looks that just missed the corner. Yeah. Oof. That parked it. That's what you said earlier. Don't want to get in that sand trap and get stuck. That's what happens. All right. That's pretty huge right now. His lead looks to be just a little bit bigger than what it was when they came on pit road. He had about a 1.5, 2 second lead, but that looks like that's going a little bit, maybe to about 2 seconds or so. Yeah, 2.5. So pretty good for James. And again, did they take tires on that pit stop? I would imagine they did not. Yeah, I mean, that's what we saw from pit road. It's just, yeah, the tires on a rest a little bit right there, and now they got to get back to these tricky conditions right now. So Ricky's doing a really good job of staying in now about 8 tenths of a second, 9 tenths of a second. It's almost staying pretty close right now. So now James just got to get back in his rhythm right now as we'll see what Ricky can continue to do. Now he's just got to, at this point, see where he's the strongest, see where James is the weakest, see what parts of the racetrack that maybe they're also equal with, and at that point just try to do anything better that he can. You can see him, he's right in front. I mean, kind of can't see at the same time, but for the most part you can see what they're doing. You see how much they're rolling in the corner, how early or how much they're braking. You can see Ricky way overshoot the entry of that corner, but it seemed to work pretty well. Lose a little time in the center, but get it back right on exit. So really good job here for what Ricky is doing here to try to catch in on James. course, it's pretty. Yeah, I was gonna say, and honestly, at this point, it's staying exactly how it's been the whole time. You can see Ricky try to make a little move to the inside. He tried to make a fake move there on James. Tried to maybe make him overstep the corner a little bit, but didn't quite get that far as a whole. But now he's just going to continue to set him up. That's the part that I like to do as a race car driver myself, and that's just continue to show your nose, show where you might be better. Maybe make the driver overstep a little bit. You can see Ricky overstep a little bit there on entry, but got it back going straight right here. As now they're going to the final chicane once again here, just over halfway. You can see how James continues to take that slightly shallower entry into the corner. Got a really good exit that time, so quite different, but I really like what he is doing up to this point. Mm-hmm. Oh, one car off in front of them as well. Oh, too hot. That takes, yeah. Yeah, that one takes, let's see. Goes into the corner. See if we had any contact now. Not from behind. Overshot it. Yeah, right there. Gets into the grass a little bit. Keeps it going straight. Not the worst, but a pretty good recovery here from what we've seen so far tonight. Pretty good right here, so continuing to roll in. Ricky continuing to stay on the back bumper, got a similar exit to James that lap here as they drive by pit entry there. Once again, we'll probably see one more pit stop between all these guys here just to get it to the end of the race. 33 minutes in, less than 27 to go here. Ricky do a little bit of a harder entry there, trying to get into the corner, gets there, stays there on entry, and gets really close on the bottom. Really strong move here. Oh, not again. Oh. Oh. Yep, right there. Tough deal for Justin Kirby. Came into this race in that tight points battle like we saw earlier with all the other drivers. So tough deal for him after a pretty difficult day as of right now. But this battle up front continuing to stay pretty close. James has a little bit more of an advantage. Overshoots the corner a little bit. That's going to give a good advantage to Ricky here once again as he gets into the corner. And if I were to check, Carl, I checked it. Carl, oh, he's gonna try. Oh no, there he goes. Whoa, too much. Oh man, that's tough. Oh no. tough deal there. I think he just got close to that curve again. That was a tough looking entry. There's on the optimal but non-optimal race line, as you say it right now in these conditions. I'll have to take a look to see if there was any contact between the two, which I don't believe there were. He may have just got into one of the puddles. Yeah, here we go. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, side by side. We haven't seen much of that today, but he had such a big run. I mean, he really couldn't let it go, but you can see as they're going to go up the hill right here, all the spray. We haven't seen much of this yet. Look at the puddle right there, right next to the curb. He kind of overspent, and yeah, there's maybe the tiniest bit of contact there on entry, and yeah, just couldn't get that car going. And see he overshoots the exit. Just not really. Yeah.
the sights and sounds of the Core GT series here at Suzuka, and I guess the sounds of me as well as having some mic issues tonight, but hopefully now this time, third time's a charm maybe, and we got this thing cleared up and you can actually hear me talk for the rest of this race, whether you want to or not, as we're down to the last 15 minutes of this race. And Tyler, I gotta say, I mean, we have 4 drivers that have called it quits here tonight. The way it looks is Justin Kirby, Tyler Kokenko, CJ Conklin, Jaden Porter are going to be out of this race, but still got 26 cars out here running. I think it's a pretty good showing 3/4 of the way through this race.
Oh yeah, it absolutely has. And I mean, for the longest time, we've really just had minor single car spins who have, for the most part, kept it going, but other times, I mean, most of the incidents really came a lot earlier, but these drivers are doing a heck of a job right now. Just driving in these conditions, not easy right now. It hasn't really changed since the start either. They've been doing this now for 46 minutes, but we're less than 15 minutes away from the finish of this race. The battle up front has kind of stayed the same ever since Ricky Renner had his own incident, went off the racetrack, lost about 5 seconds, kept it going. And look at these 2 incidents right in front of each other. Josh Betts went off. Car in front just seemed to go off as well.
And Jake Jackson went off in front of Josh Betts there. Josh Betts drives a little bit deeper in the track too, but another incident here. And this is your bronze division leader. This is Alex Jaspers. And we have the same situation here with the car stepping out into the grass. Yes, indeed. Steps out, slides sideways. And he's going to decide probably the best move at this point, and bring it right into pit lane, take his pit stop right here. That's what he does, brings the 117 in for service. At the front, it is James Pierce with a 6.5 second lead. As let's go back live first. There we go. 6.5 second lead over Ricky Renner, Jonathan Schwartz, Dominique Ford, and Nathan Nickerson, your overall top 5. And Mason Smith, Jimmy Covert, Nick Terrell, Braden Carlson, and Dave Tilford making up the overall top 10. But your division leaders, excuse me, James Pierce, Nathan Nickerson, Alex Jaspers, all have sizable leads here. I mean, James Pierce is the smallest amount there with 6.3. It got down a little bit. It looked like Ricky was kind of running him down just a little bit, but I think whether it was James having some rough laps or it was Ricky that started falling off here. But the lead has grown back out to 6.5 seconds. But Nathan Nickerson, 23, almost 24 seconds ahead of Jimmy Covert. Alex Jaspers has got about 30 seconds over Tim Thompson, and even Jonathan Schwartz has got almost 2 minutes ahead of Kenny Hines, who, again, they're not technically racing for points. They're in the rookie class. They're going to be moved into their respective classes after their 5 races here. Kenny Hines, this is his first race out here, and it may just be a one-shot for him just to test it out. If it is, he picked a heck of a race to come out here and try it out.
Yeah, what a race to do it. I mean, 2 minutes behind, just about 2 minutes behind, a bummer. But, I mean, again, heck of a way to get some racing under your laps here in the Core for the first time. So, overall, still holding his own. Pretty good job by Kenny Hines right now, running in the 2nd position in the rookie class. But yeah, as we get to just 11 minutes to go, as you pointed out, final pit stop should be coming up here shortly. Real question is, once we get to the battle up front, what will the leaders do? What will Ricky do? Will he decide to bring it in early, try to short pit, and here he comes.
There's your answer. In the meantime, since Alex Jaspers came out of the pits, he's had a few incidents. This is after his pit stop. Going off track here a little bit. No worse for wear on this one. But then a little bit later in the lap, this is heading now into Degner.
Way too hot. Oh.
Big old slide right there. Again, luckily for him, he keeps it off of the barriers. But he's going to lose a ton of time here, and quite possibly could even lose the lead in the bronze, as James Molyneux coming around right there. So we'll see where this all shakes out, as looks like Alex Jasper's still in the lead of the bronze class. Tim Thompson, though, it's no longer a huge lead. I mean, we just got that saying it's about 30-second lead for Alex Jaspers. How about 2.5?
Yeah, that's going to happen when a few incidents like that happen. But I mean, now this will be interesting because you got Tim Thompson right here trying to catch him here. It's still sitting at about 2.5, just over 2.5 seconds now. But you got Ricky Renner, who is one of the fast race cars here. So that's not what Tim is going to want to see in front. He's starting to lose a little bit more time, but now he's got, I necessarily can't say dirty air, not in these conditions, but I guess the dirty spray with him, with Ricky Renner right here in front, kind of throwing him off. But now that Ricky's starting to pull away, he's going to be able to run on his own here without many issues right now. Looks like Ricky was a little slow to that corner. Oh, he's off. Oh, no. Oh my goodness! Well, you see, that is the kind of thing that you don't want to see. Another
one off there. I think it was Alexander Hamrick going off there as well.
Oh my goodness!
Take a look at Ricky again, and you see just drifting through the first part of the deck there, and he is going to get into that wall. Looks like everything stays on there. Hopefully, it's not wheel damage for him. We'll go back live.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I saw him going into the corner. It looked like he went wide at first, and I knew something was there. I mean, it's not like he had the necessary, I mean, he was going to try to push it as much as he can with him trying to pit early, but I mean, that right now is just pretty much throwing everything out the window. One car. And Alexander Hamrick there was a little bit slow, got around him, goes a little wide. You see him having to slow way down just to make the corner there, but his chances pretty much at winning this event, unfortunately, look like have gone splash down.
I see what you did there. Yeah, just right on board here to see if we see any kind of wheel damage, if he is still got the wheel straight. It looks like everything is okay driving-wise on that 53, but he's going to have a battle now on his hands to hopefully keep that thing under wraps and just kind of calm it down here a little bit to try and still grab a second place here tonight. James Pierce has been in and out of the pits already and is still going to be in the lead of the gold division. Currently in the lead overall, has yet to come in for his second pit stop, is Jonathan Schwartz in the 199 as he's making his way around lap car here. And just a nice, quiet little race here for Jonathan. Been running up there in the top 3 all night long, and looking like he's going to come away with another overall podium. Yeah, been good overall here for the rookie. I mean, it's just been pretty fantastic of his performance that we've seen now that he's been in the core overall here. So a really impressive job. Obviously not going to be able to hold on for the overall win unless some absolute miracle happens, but yeah, good job right now running in the podium as we're pretty much in every race. Just he's had the speed for it. He's got the win last week. He's accomplished pretty much everything. Now will be eventually, once he gets promoted into his assigned class here, whether it's gold, silver, or bronze, it'll be good look. I mean, competitors don't have to worry. Jonathan Schwartz is really good. Yeah, I mean, unless he has a couple bad races here to finish out his initial 5 races here in core, I don't think there's going to be any question that he'll be up there in the gold division, mixing it up with the likes of James Pierce, Dominique Ford, Mason Smith, and the others here, as it's certainly well deserved if he's up there running with them. But we'll wait to see his last pit stop, and I mean, first pit stop, he was one of the latest ones to come into the pits, so maybe stretching out here a little bit. He's going to take a splash and go. He's going to stay out there for at least another lap here. I mean, he is not one to shy away from differing strategies here when it comes to the pitting. I don't think he has enough to make it all the way, but I mean, I'm looking at the laps here. We're on lap number 24 right now, and we're roughly right around 2 laps to go. He last pit on lap 13. That math is mathing up to, is he trying to do a one-stopper here tonight? He might be, and he's got, we'll have to take a look. What is the overall gap he's got to P2? He's got a 6.5 second lead. We'll bring up the overall standings right now. I mean, 6.5 seconds back to Pierce. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt. I mean, he's been in third the whole race. He got the win last week. I mean, he can just try to go out and just try something different. It's not like even if it doesn't work, he's not going to lose that much significant time, because he can just come in and take a small splash of fuel, come out pretty quick right now and gain maybe back onto the podium if it's possible. But I mean,
I like it. I like the different strategies, holding on to that 6.5 second lead, just under that now. So we'll see if he can hold on. This will be pretty intriguing to see if he can make it.
I mean, I think by all instances, he's going to need to see the white flag this time by would be optimal, I think. But I'm not sure if he's going to see the white flag. It's going to be very close as we're finishing up the 55th minute right now. And, you know, these lap times here are currently right around the 2-minute and 20-second range. So it's going to be close. It's going to be fun. We'll have our eyes on Barney for sure. And we'll see if that 199 decides to stay out, if he can stay out, if he's pulled off a flyer. I mean, he tried a different strategy there at Interlagos and almost pulled it off, coming in for his kind of short pit first when everybody came in for the regular pit stop, and really kind of had the other leaders scratching their heads, wondering how they lost so much time to him. And ended up, you know, coming back to them at the end of the race. But it was fun watching the different strategy play out there. And it looks like he's on another strategy here. I mean, he's one of 2 drivers that pit all the way in lap number 13. Actually, a few did. As he pit on lap 13, Nick Terrell, Alan Gullison, and Jack Peterson all pit on lap number 13, and he is staying out again. We'll take a look and see if we can see Barney.
I don't think so.
I don't see a white flag just yet. Yeah, looking at the time, not going to be a white flag just yet, but it is going to be 2 laps to go. So he knows he's got to make it around 2 more laps. It's lap number 25 again, and on lap 13. 13 is 26. So
I think it's very possible.
I think that's what he's going for.
It's not over, I can give you that, because James Pierce has cut the time down. It's now under 5.5 seconds, and I mean, if we're on 2 to go this time, which, I mean, makes sense, I mean, he's going to probably save a little bit just to make sure he's safe, but at the same time, you don't want to, because you got James Pierce, who's on full sword right now to try to get by Jonathan Schwartz. But I mean, hey, just about every race he's pulled a slightly different pit strategy. And last week he got his first win because the leader Dominic Ford ran out of fuel on the last lap. So these fuel strategies have been pretty interesting as of late right now. Got himself about a lap, probably about a lap and a half to go here, 5.5 seconds. We'll see if he can hold on.
I mean, are we going to see the leader of the race, back-to-back races, run out of fuel on the last lap? I mean, it's not a trend I don't think these leaders want to see continue, for sure, especially Jonathan Schwartz here tonight, but doing a fantastic job trying to go back-to-back here with a differing strategy. And I was kind of wondering, we've seen his pace so far in his core career, but you know, the rain can shake things up. Obviously, it's shaking things up here for Dominic Ford, who's now currently in second place, as he's gotten around Ricky Renner after Renner had those issues. It is Dominic Ford in second place.
Not bad overall. Still pretty just a day for Dom. I would say he's kind of scratched his head a little bit, just wondering what on earth maybe is different today. I'm sure qualifying and down, what was that, I believe 12th overall, definitely did not help his case whatsoever, but still really good recovery as a whole right now. 3rd overall, 2nd in the gold class right now. So still a good job, still a very consistent race. I'm pretty sure he'll have a very sizable points lead still with only 4 races to go, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think by all means the points for the golden overall have been wrapped up with him winning the first half of the season. It would take a monumental effort and a perfect season the rest of the way for everybody else. But as it stands right now, the eyes are on this man right here, the 199, going through the S's. This is lap 26, and this is your final lap here as the white flag is out. Does he have enough fuel to get this thing done? And we'll just double check, try and find another car that's going past start finish line. There we go. And just to get confirmation, sometimes he's not waving the flag anyway, but there it is. White flag is indeed in the air. So can Jonathan make it all the way back around here? Is going through Degner here.
Don't want to do that. Don't scare us.
Yeah, exactly. Keep it on the track. The lead is now cut down to 4.4 seconds, but still a nice sizable gap here for the 199 to try and make this thing all the way to the end. And just for reference, Nick Terrell also is still out there. He's another one at pit on lap 13. So I think all these guys that stretch it out had that in mind right off the bat. And it's one thing I wanted to mention earlier. With these rain races, a lot of times you can save more fuel. You're not on the gas as much as you normally are. I mean, when you go through these corners that you're normally, flat through the long sweeping right-hander there, or pretty close to being flat, you're kind of tiptoeing or off the gas a lot. So you're saving fuel whenever you're not on the gas. So it gives you that option of trying to stretch this thing out. These guys may have bingoed this strategy here as they're coming. Jonathan Schwartz is coming down to 130R. And the end of this lap for sure is looking pretty good. Does he have enough to get all the way through the hairpin or the chicane and bring this thing home? He is certainly up to full power still into the chicane, pulling off the one stopper here tonight. The 199 of Jonathan Schwartz going back to back here and winning a very wet and wild race here at Suzuka.
Well done. I mean, I don't know all the exact statistics, but have we ever seen, I'm sure it could have happened, but has there been a rookie that has ever won their first 2 races in a row before?
Since we kind of started the whole division and stuff, I'm not sure if we've seen a rookie come in and dominate, quite like this. We've had like one situation where a driver ended up coming out of their rookie status as a silver and all of a sudden started doing very well and got bumped up to the gold. But to come out and be competitive like this against a field like this, I mean, there's a lot of good drivers here in the gold division here in the Core GT series.
A lot of drivers here, period.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a fantastic win here once again, and still has enough to coast on through. It looks like 199 may finally be sputtering, and he's going to take a little shortcut to come back to the pits here. And I don't think I blame him here. Hopefully, he doesn't end up getting a penalty for this. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But he's going to bring it into pit lane. But James Pierce is going to be your winner in the gold division. Not the overall. He's going to come home in second. Dominique Ford, Ricky Renner for the top 3. Nathan Nickerson is still out there, as it looks like. No, he did complete his lap. He is going to be your winner here in the silver division. Jimmy Culver in second, Braden Carlson in third. Down in the bronze division, it is Alex Jaspers that gets the win by 7 seconds over Tim Thompson and Jesse Francisco for the top 3. We'll get a full breakdown and rundown of all the results here in a bit. But I mean, again, I gotta give it to these guys. It's been a heck of a battle out here tonight with the weather conditions. I mean, all things being considered, this was a heck of a good run for a lot of these guys.
Oh yeah, what an absolute great race that we saw today. A lot of great driving, quite a lot of mistakes, obviously. But I mean, again, like I mentioned earlier, they're all pretty supercar mistakes. I mean, it's not like they were pretty dangerous. I mean, we saw a few 2-car incidents. I think that's really the most that we saw all at once overall. But still, very impressive. Congrats to all the guys for the race tonight. Pretty clean, exciting event. Congrats to all the winners. Jonathan for winning the overall race tonight. Now we get to talk to him.
Yeah, get everyone queued up here and get them into the waiting room for their interviews here tonight. But yeah, it was. I mean, you see the rain right now. I mean, it's coming down sideways. It was a very rough one out here for these drivers tonight. But we'll take a look at the final results and the rundown here for the gold division. That's not it. There we go. For the gold division here tonight, it's going to be James Pierce, Dominique Ford, Ricky Renner, Mason Smith, Nick Terrell for the top 5, Dave Tilford, Jack Peterson, Kelly Pointer, and Michael Brock for the 9 cars in the gold division. In the silver, it is going to be Nathan Nickerson, Jimmy Covert, Braden Carlson, Alan Gullison, Ellie Brandel, John Nominger, Justin Kirby, and Tyler Kokeko. For the bronze, Alex Jaspers taking home the win. Tim Thompson, Jesse Francisco, Josh Betts, John Crane, James Molyneux, Terry Jansen, and CJ Conklin. And then finally in the rookies, taking home the win and the overall win. Jonathan Schwartz, Kenny Hines, Jake Jackson, Alexander Hamrick, and Jaden Porter for your 5 rookies here in the race here tonight. We'll take a look and see. It looks like we got a couple drivers filing into here, and just waiting for everyone. But we'll go ahead and start these interviews, and hopefully everybody else decides to file in quickly here, and we'll get them up here. But first one we'll talk to here tonight is going to be your bronze division winner, and that's going to be the 117 of Alex Jaspers. Alex, first of all, it's so much easier to see you when we have it slowed down here, and you got no cars around here. But man, just tell us what it was like just on the start of this race, and the fact that you really couldn't see anybody out there in front of you.
Yeah, like you were really just looking out the side eye to look for your brake points, because the amount of spray coming off those cars in front of you was just unreal. You're really squinting to try to see some brake lights, and like the start of the race there, everybody seemed to just kind of get single file for the most part and just try to behave themselves, you know?
Yeah, I did see that. It looked like everybody was kind of had level heads and decided to go single file there. How was it out there in regards to passing? I mean, was there any opportunities that you can even think about passing? We seen it from a couple different drivers where they got good runs out of the corner, but unless they had a real legit side-by-side battle going to that next corner, they kind of had to back out of it, because you're not on the racing line, you're not on the rain racing line, you're on a completely different line, and you don't know how it's going to handle.
Yeah, like the track there was very, very wet. Like we had some heavy rain going there, I would say, and if you weren't on that rain line, like you wouldn't even brake. You might as well threw stud tires on there and try to drive on ice.
So one thing that we thought was kind of funny for us, not so much for the drivers that got caught up in it, but obviously as a driver, you know, in the wet weather here, to stay off the puddling, stay off the curbing, and stay off the paint on the sides of the roads, because you know it's extra slick. We've seen probably 3, 4, maybe even 5 guys lose it into turn 1 just because they had their tires on the pit exit paint. Did you have any kind of issues with that here tonight?
I knew a few guys were saying that turn 1 there was a spot that they thought they would just spin out for no reason. Maybe they probably touched that touched that pit exit paint. Yeah,
their tires were lined up perfectly on that paint when they went to brake, and that's what was doing it for them. So yeah, so it's a good thing that I guess sometimes not knowing something is okay too. So it's probably good not knowing that can happen there for you. But you get it home here in first place tonight in the bronze division. Before we let you go and get out of here, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Well, I got to give a shout to you guys up in the booth here. You do a fantastic job every week. I really like watching back the broadcast with you guys up there, and of course to my wife, who lets me get away with my fun hobbies that I have here. So. Without her, I probably wouldn't be doing this. So,
absolutely. Well, congrats again on the win here tonight, and go ahead and go dry off. I mean, it may rain next week at Monza too, but just take some time and just kind of walk this one off.
Will do. Thanks, guys.
That is your winner here in the bronze division, the 117 of Alex Jaspers. Winner of the silver division tonight is going to be the 280 of Nathan Nickerson. Tyler, why don't you go ahead and take Nathan?
Yeah, Nathan, so it was a pretty good race for you tonight here. Looking at you, I mean, you pretty much felt like you were in a league of your own. You're leading pretty much in the silver division for the whole day, running top 10 overall as well. Take us through what these wet conditions were like for you.
Yeah, prior to this race, it was raining a little more, so running a little bit slower, and then actually my first time racing on this course, so throughout the qualifying, just trying to find the pace throughout, and I think I had a top 3 lap time going into a lap, and then I ended up losing it towards the end of that lap. So during the race, I slid out a few times, just trying to control it, and then after the second pit stop, I just told myself, slow down, you got plenty of space, so kept it on track.
Yeah, so take me a little bit through, as based on what you just said there right at the end, take me through the mindset we were going through today, because I mean, it being so wet and the track conditions not really changing that much with the amount of water that was laying on the racetrack. What was it like trying to balance, running the perfect line every lap, keeping focus, having pressure from other guys around you? Take us through what that was kind of like.
I think I was taking different laps than the people in front of me and behind me. So I was kind of supercross styling it, going straight into the corner and then sharp turning out of it. So losing a little bit of speed, but gaining a lot more on the exit there. And then just being between people like Dom Ford and Mason Smith, I didn't know what to think, if they were going to catch me or what, but I held my pace with them. It was awesome.
Yeah, one thing that I want to point out is what the broadcast is showing right now. You getting a little bit sideways, getting into the grass there, doing a really good job of saving it. So, what's the feeling like in the car knowing that, once you're sideways, there's little to no chance of you saving it. But, you did here pretty well.
Oh, it's insane. So turn one going in there is just brake, and then hope you brake until you get to the curb, basically. But if you don't brake enough, you touch that curb, and most of the time I could use that curb to slightly angle the car into the corner just a little bit more, but other times it was, I don't know if I'm going to make this corner at this point. So once you get that car loose, it's kind of just a prayer at that point, hoping you stay on track.
All right, Nathan. Well, it was a good race for you today overall. Any quick shout outs you'd like to give before we let you go?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the next gen crew. So Ricky and Bet's out there tonight holding it down. Next gen threw down a solid Porsche to get us up there.
Well, like Carl mentioned there, thanks for driving. Might want to go get a towel, dry off a little bit, because that was quite wild. And we'll see you next race at Monza.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, I think you need to have a discussion with your sponsor. I see Rain X on the front of that car. You certainly need it out here tonight.
Oh, keep it in nice and tidy. Yeah.
Buddy, that is your winner here in the silver division, the 280 of Nathan Nickerson. Third place overall here tonight is going to be the 91 of Dom Ford. And Dom, you had just a kind of a ho-hum race here tonight, and we know that you weren't exactly looking forward to these rain races here tonight, and qualifying a bit off. Was that kind of what put you off pace, or were you just in general you didn't really get a feel for this thing here tonight?
Well, there's a little bit of everything, I'll be honest. I could have ran a faster quali lap. I actually had a faster quali lap, but I chose to back out of it because I knew turn one was going to be very hectic. So I was like, all right, we'll just start from here. We'll see how it goes. I know I didn't have the pace to keep up, and those guys in the top of the rain, I wasn't really worried about it. I'm not racing for them, in the points or whatever, so I can drive as fast as they want to. But yeah, I was just kind of chilling in the back, picking off as I go, and then I saw like 3-4 cars spin off in turn one, or however many cars it was, and gained a few positions there, and we just went with the flow.
Well, I kind of seem to be the only way you can really pass out here tonight is waiting for a mistake. We've seen when Ricky and James were going at it in the beginning of this race, Ricky had 1 or 2 opportunities, but you have to really, really, really have an opportunity to want to try and send it in there. If not, you're just waiting for that guy to make a mistake, because you're already taking a line that's not the normal racing line by running in these wet conditions, and to take what's essentially a third different line can really get sketchy.
Yeah. I mean, it's rough. It's really hard to tell sometimes where you should place the car if you're trying to overtake. I had a few opportunities where, I thought maybe I could make it, or see if I could squeeze it in there, but it's really tough to try and hold your line and not kill the car to the left or to the right of you.
Well, you come home in second place in the gold, and in third place overall here tonight. So, I mean, either way, you survived the rain here tonight at Suzuka. I mean, does this give you a little bit of an idea of how rough Spa may be coming up here in a few weeks?
I mean, I think all of us that's ever been at Spa 24, at least the last Spa 24, knows what it's gonna be like to do that Spa race in the wet. So I think I'm just gonna treat it like this race. Who knows? I might not even show up. I don't know. That'll be my second job race. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm excited though for Monza. I didn't fully commit to this race. I didn't even do any practice. I just picked a car and drove out there. So I'm gonna fully commit next race though. Monza's 50-50, and I love that track. So we're going full send McLaren.
All right, buddy. Well, congrats on the run here tonight. Third place overall, second in the gold. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Like always, shout out to you guys on the broadcast. It's always nice to go back and watch the race. See you guys' commentation on the carnage that's happening, especially after this race. It's going to be very interesting. And shout out to my teammate Mason. I know he didn't have the greatest of races tonight either, and we'll bounce back for next week. Shout out to the winner. And shout out to 2 and 2. I think that's all. I think I checked all the boxes.
All right, buddy. Well, congrats again on the run here tonight. We'll see you next week at Monza.
Yes. Have a good night.
That's your third place finisher overall, second in the gold, Dominique Ford in the 91. Winner in the gold, second place tonight is going to be James Pierce, trying to locate him, but unfortunately it doesn't look like I'm seeing him here in the chat. So we'll go ahead and Tyler, we'll let you take our winner here tonight, the 199 of Jonathan Schwartz.
All right, Jonathan. Well, what a race for you once again. You took everyone, including me and Carl, by absolute surprise here. I mean, we're doing a little bit of the math there, when you brought it down paper for the first time. And then once we kind of saw what would happen there, with you guys being able to stretch fuel, you were able to hang on and get your second win in a row here. Heck of a job for you and the group. Tell me, I'm curious, were you as confident as we were when you were able to make it, or were you maybe a little bit more hesitant on whether you'd have enough?
I had absolutely no clue. It was a 50-50 from the start of the race all the way to like the very last lap. It was just, it was a shot in the dark. I just knew that I qualified third. I didn't really have the pace to catch those guys. And I was like, either I can save a bit and take less on my second pit stop, or if I'm lucky, I might be able to just do a one stop. I didn't know what the plan was till the very end. I didn't even know if it was going to be 27 laps or 25. And it just happened to get a bit lucky there, and even being able to make that one stop, it didn't necessarily guarantee the win in any way. I mean, it looked like James was catching up a lot, and he was building that gap for a long time in that second stint. And I mean, if I just made like one extra mistake by going off, losing a few seconds, I think his pit stop, he might have come out ahead of me at the very end. So yeah, definitely wasn't an easy race. Just trying to manage consistency there, saving when possible. But yeah, I'll take this surprise win as much as you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I just applaud you for what you've done so far. I mean, this is just now your third race here in the core right now. 3 podiums, 2 wins right now. Man, what do you have like something that you're not telling us? Is there a secret, or like, I mean, what do you feel has been the key to being able to make your performance so much better, so much different, and at times better than everyone else?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, I'm just trying to constantly learn where I can. I mean, if I'd started on pole, that would have made my life a little bit better. But yeah, like I said, I didn't have the pace of James and Ricky as well. Those guys are super fast, and even Mason at the start, he was on the back of my car, like right up to my bumper. And I was rewatching the replay. I think turn 1, lap 2, he almost punted me into turn 1, and it wasn't any of his fault. It was that if you touched that pit exit line, it just gave absolutely no control or grip to the car. And I think there was a similar incident with Jack and Mike the same lap. So yeah, definitely some luck played there for just trying to survive, making sure you get that right line into turn 1. But especially in qualifying, I was just watching a lot on boards of particularly James, just trying to see what lines they were taking and hoping to implement that into the race. So yeah, if there's anything I'm really doing that's special, it's just trying to learn from these other fast guys. So yeah, since I definitely don't have it all the time, and I'll take a bit of luck when I can.
Well, it's good stuff overall. Next race is at Monza, possibly in the rain as well. Maybe not as much as that we've seen tonight here. So what are your thoughts heading into Monza? You think you got the same confidence to go 3 in a row?
Man, Monza is not gonna be honest, not one of my favorite and not one of my best tracks. I definitely struggle with those sausage curves at like the first chicane, the second chicane, and Ascari is always a bit scary. And there's a lot of passing opportunities to get dive bombed, and even if you do send it, so yeah, lots of action to look forward to at Monza. And yeah, we gotta hope we can at least get a podium. We'll start there, and you never know about a win. So, but yeah, just happy for tonight.
All right, John, well, heck of a job right now. They're stretching the fuel to take your second win in a row. Any quick shout outs you'd like to give before we let you go here and celebrate?
Yeah, definitely. Want to give a shout out to Adam Wright, who was my teammate in the Fuji 8 Hours. I think just the last weekend. Ended up getting second place overall in top split in slot 1. So really happy to get that result. So a huge shout out to Adam Wright and Team Aerokinetics for that great result, and just of course Aerokinetics as well for just being on the car and helping me find time whenever I can. So as well as you guys in the broadcast booth.
Well, John, we appreciate everything that has happened so far. Put on a great show here once again, and we'll catch you next race at Monza.
Thanks. See you guys then.
That is your top finishing rookie, but more importantly, the winner here overall, Jonathan Schwartz, and the 199. And man, 2 races in a row. Fuel. Last week we had Dom Ford losing on fuel. This week we have Jonathan Schwartz winning on a one-stopper. This is great. This is some great racing out here. I love to see it, and a lot of wet and wild action here for sure. But I mean, all in all, Tyler, it wasn't, I don't think, from guys kind of overdriving it against each other. It was a battle against the track here tonight. It wasn't. I mean, there were you and 29 other competitors out there, but really the only competitor was the track.
Yeah, absolutely was. I mean, that's where we saw pretty much all the incidents take place tonight. Unfortunately, just drivers overstepping it just a little bit there. But I mean, that's what's going to happen in these tough conditions. But everyone did a fantastic job of managing it as much as they physically could. Congrats to all the winners that we had tonight here once again, and drivers getting the best finish that they could. And look forward to Monza. Maybe we'll try some new things at Monza. We'll try it out. We'll have fun.
Absolutely. Well, it was a fun one out here tonight, and we're not going to be here next week as we're going to be letting everybody celebrate the Thanksgiving holiday. So happy early Thanksgiving to all the viewers out there. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe and get in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. A happy birthday to my son turning 7 today as well. But for myself and Tyler Scozen here from the wet Suzuka circuit, we'll see you at the track.